Hey, hey, hey. So it's Friday. Friday the what? Friday the 4th, I think, of October. Yeah, October 4. And we have this drive going on. It's an event, all right? So I don't want people to get confused. You're not going to a building somewhere with my event, the hybrid executive event that's on Facebook. Basically, all we're doing is sharing the awareness of the book. That's all you're doing. So I just use the event thing because it's the easiest thing to get the word out. Other than sending messenger stuff, and sometimes you just want to put, okay, you know what, we're doing to do this. So the book is out, the hybrid executive. It's on Amazon. You get the ebook there. You can get it on Barnes and Nobles. You can get it on iBooks, and there's a lot of other ebook platforms that There's a lot of different types of tablets out there that people are using, But you definitely have the Kindle, you have the iPad, and you have the Nook versions of the ebook. The physical book, you still got to order that from me directly. So you can go to thehybridexecutive.com or you can go to samsdigital.net. It's the same website. Samsdigital.net is the marketing arm of my company. And I do, things like flyers, business cards, websites, press releases, posters, banners, graphic design stuff. We do biography development. We do one sheets, so things that artists would need. I work it where the price is reasonable for folks like that. So that's the marketing. And plus, we do social media maintenance and marketing services as well. And video editing, sound design, and what else we do in there? We do jingles. We can do jingles and other stuff. You can go there and see what it is we provide. But if you go to samsdigital.net, you're going to see one of the tabs. It says Hybrid Executive. You click on that tab, and it's going to be three things. So the first tab is where you have all the links for the ebook, and plus you can get the PDF version. The other tab, it would say physical, the book, Hybrid Executive book. That's the one you're going to go to order the physical book. The book is $15. $5 is for the shipping, right? So if you want to get the physical book, you order that from me directly. And then we have the Hybrid Executive merchandise. So if you want to get a T-shirt, supporting the movement, and there are other little items there, you can go there and enjoy. So today is where I'm just asking friends of friends of friends, just let folks know about the book. That's all you're going to do. You could share the link and say, hey, you know what, this is a friend of mine. He wrote a book called Hybrid Executive, especially if they're into the music business or if they're into the entertainment business. They could jump in there and actually, get some information that's beneficial. So what else is happening is that I wanted to give an interesting experience testimony. So while I was in Texas recently for the DIY conference, the CD Baby conference, the Saturday evening, I was networking all day, talking to people about the book, and some people bought and what have you. But at the end of the day, I didn't have enough money to get me back to the hotel. So I just had enough money to eat something. And I had to eat something. I didn't eat anything all day. I was rocking, drinking stuff all day. And by the way, cheers. See Sam, make sure you get the S, work it out. So there's some coffee here. And so there was a little restaurant next to the hotel where the event was happening. And I and Chef somebody, And if you guys remember, I had a post with some brisket beef and stuff. It's the same place. So I went there, said, let me eat something because I made my mind up. I was actually going to walk. I was going to walk from the restaurant about roughly, I think it was like 9 miles away to the hotel. I was actually going to walk to the hotel because I was just out of cash. And so while I'm eating, a good brethren of mine based in Florida, shout out to Dr. Henry, calls me and he says, "What's your PayPal link?" Out of the blue, "What's your PayPal link?" I guess he saw what I was posting and realized that, my bread's in a little jam there. Let me help him out. And so it's funny. So while you're there making your piece, it's almost like you're making a piece to like, it's almost like a death experience. Like you're making a piece like, this is what is going to be happening next. And then you get a call that you weren't expecting. "What's your PayPal link?" I was like, oh, wow. So he sent me like $30 and I was able to use that to go to to get back instead of walking 9 miles. And, I kind of thought that was interesting because folks might say, well, you have a book out and you're talking about hybrid executive and you broke like that? What makes you worthy enough to even have this conversation? And it's something to think about, really and truly. If someone doesn't have a shirt on and he's trying to sell you some shirts, then, you got to think about it for a little while. But don't confuse that with someone in the process of changing their season, or you're changing your situation. And when I mean change your situation, it could be anything. And I'm just being general on it. So if we think of the butterfly is, it goes through different phases. First, it's a caterpillar, right? Well, not first. I mean, it has to be like a larva and all of that, and then it develops into a caterpillar. But the caterpillar is like the first developed stage, and then from a caterpillar, it has to get to the cocoon stage, and then it has to break out of that cocoon to be the butterfly. Another example you could look at is a baby being born, and the baby has to break through the through the water bag. The water bag at one point provided protection and nourishment. Well, the mother did, of course, but I'm talking about, don't take me all the way out there. I know some of my people like to always get what's the word? Philosophical with me. So we're keeping it simple. So the same thing that's providing security is something that you got to break out of to get to the next level. That's what I'm basically saying. And when you're changing your situation, when you're moving from one level to the next, you're going to have something called a resistance. You're going to have to so the same way that butterfly, the cocoon, the caterpillar that turned into the cocoon, it has to break out of that thing it built that provided the protection for it to evolve into the butterfly. It has to break that open. So there's resistance. The chicken coming out of the egg, the chick that's coming out of the egg, it has to break that egg, right? So don't confuse that process where someone is breaking out of a situation because you're in your comfort zone, and so some of you would be in your comfort zone, and for you to get to the next level, you realize that you just have a lot of things going wrong, or bills that weren't bothering you 2 months ago when you were putting your plan in place, like, okay, well, I can do this, so I can do that, I can see the other thing. And now when you're ready to make these changes, all of these things start popping up that you got to deal with as an adult. You've got to find money for this, you got to spend time with that over there, you got to it just changes. When that starts happening, although it might be hurting you in that moment, really and truly, it's a good sign. When you start getting all kinds of resistance, when you're changing your situation, don't throw your situation away. Keep rocking. Keep going forward. Inch by inch. Step by step. Keep moving forward, because that is a sign that once you break that resistance, you're going to start the next level. I'll tell you another experience of mine. We were like 10 minutes in. So there was a time when I started doing production, right? I had bought a 4-track from a friend of mine. Shout out to Hervé. Hervé, I bought a 4-track from Hervé back in, what year was this? 1980. 88, 89. Hervé had this 4-track. We used to work at this music school where we taught kids piano, and he was selling his 4-track, a cassette 4-track machine. So eventually, I hooked it up. I got a keyboard from another friend, Reverend Ronald Joseph. I don't know where he is these days, but shout out to Reverend Joseph. He bought a keyboard for me, the K1, Kauai K1. And so I hooked it up, and I'm learning to do tracks. So I had a group of folks that would come to me almost every week. Yo, I need this song, or I need that song, or I need the other song. And I welcomed it because, you know, it allowed me to learn how to do tracks. I learned how to put the little drum track together and the piano, and, you know, so I'll have the drum track or the click on one, and then I'll put the piano on the second one, and then I'll probably do strings, and then I'll do the bass, and then maybe mix it all back down to one, and then I can add more stuff. It was a really cool way to build your music, build your tracks. So eventually, I got good at it, really good. So it was time to change from the free situation into where people can actually pay. So guess what? When I started charging, that's when I started hearing the most craziest responses. You charging now? And then I think I started charging like $20. You know, one person actually told me, this was bugged out. One person said to me, I could go to I think Christian Publications was a store at the time in New York where people would go and get their performance tracks in Manhattan. Someone said to me, I can go to Christian Publications and get this for $7. Why are you charging $20? And I had to explain. I said, look, when you buy a song track for $7, hundreds of thousands of dollars was actually put into that project before it even got to you. Because all they had to do was, after they finished, did all the work, they just ran it off without the lead vocal so you could have a track to sing. But the musicians, the producers, the studio time, the engineers, all the people that's involved on this record had to be paid. Someone paid that bill. And so now you can get the runoff, and then they're like, well, yeah, run it for like $7. I said, but when you come to me, I have to sit there for sometimes 3 or 4 hours putting this thing together. I got to replay it. First, and back then I didn't have like sequences and stuff. So it was the tape I'm dealing with. I'm rocking on a tape cassette. So I have to learn the song. I have to learn how the introduction goes. I got to learn the verse. I got to learn the chorus. I got to learn the bridge. I got to learn the drive. So I got to sit there and learn the song first. Because I couldn't do it in pieces like I could do it today. You know, because this is the intro, and then, all right, this is the verse, and then we can digitally put it together. So before that, tape, you got to run it right through. You got to play the intro, go into the verse, go into the chorus, second verse, chorus, bridge, outro, and try as possible not to make a mistake running it right through. And you're playing it live in real time. That's the school I come from right there. Any producers today, you got to respect the 4-track production, my G. And then you got to rewind your tape back to the beginning, and then now you're playing the strings, and you come down and you let that run all the way through. And then you got to rewind it back, and then you got to play the bass all the way through. You better respect that. Respect. But anyway, back to my point. I had to explain to them, like, I'm replaying this stuff, and I'm just charging you $20. I mean, when I replay this stuff, it's almost as if someone paid me 10 grand to do it. But anyway, needless to say, other than, it was free, and then now you're starting to charge. It took a little moment. It took some time. And the people who could pay started to contact me. It wasn't right away. It was, a couple of weeks and some months passed. I was like, okay, well, maybe this thing was not really a good idea. And then, some people who understood the work that went into it, they're like, yo, how much you charge to do, and I'm like, well, $20. And then I had one client, he said, what, I'm going to give you $40. I'm like, really? He said, yeah, I understand the work that you got to put into this. I'll give you $40. I had a couple of clients, I would put a little extra on it because they knew the time it took to sit there and create a performance track that would run for 3 or 4 minutes. And it's funny, something that's running for 3 or 4 minutes is taking you 4 or 5 hours to do. So don't confuse a shirtless man or woman. Well, it depends on the woman too. But I think a shirtless woman could sell anything. Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't help that. But don't confuse someone who is bringing something valuable to you, and they may be in the season of changing their situation. They're in the season of changing the resistance. The thing that they're coming out of the cocoon, or they spent that 9 months in is it gestation? That's what they call it. All of my biology people. But you gotta, when you're coming out to that next level, when you're growing to the next level, you're going to have resistance. There's going to be all types of stuff going wrong. You had money for this, and then when you're ready to put it in place, the money's, you had to apply the funds to other things. Once that starts happening, it's a good sign that you're on to making your situation what it's supposed to be. So, as the hybrid executive guy, the guy that wrote the book, the self-empowerment manual for today's indie artists, that's my pointers for you today. And what is the pointer? Oh, the pointer is, it's a couple. But please share the information. It's better if someone else recommends the book than me. I mean, I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends. I have mad family, lots of family. There's a lot of Archers out there, Archers and Henrys and Norries and trust me, there's a lot of them. But if you guys recommend the book, it goes a lot better to the folks that would be interested in getting the information, opposed to me, who's always selling something most of the times. Hey, check this out. So that's what today's activity is about on the Facebook event. So please push it out to 3, 4, at least 3 people. Doesn't have to be a lot of people. Even if you have one friend, you just, hey, you know what? I want to recommend something to you. Check out this link, and just share the information. All right, guys. One love.